Yeah, hi, my name is Katrín. I work for the National Police Commissioner of the Icelandic Police. And in 24, we published a report about youth violence and different kinds of exploitation in organized crime, and also made a recommendation for new policy. So I have a lot to say, and I only have 10 minutes, so please contact me afterwards and we can have a chat. I have a lot of slides as well, so you will see me go through them pretty quickly. So this is the report that we published, and the focus was on young perpetrators from the ages of 10 to 17. The report had two major themes. So firstly, it was quantitative analysis of youth offending from the police database, and secondly, it was a qualitative analysis on organized crime and exploitation. So behind the statistics, there are lived experiences of children. So this was our first disclaimer of the report, that behind the numbers, we have actually children who live under different circumstances, who experience different kinds of abuse sometimes, and also are discriminated. So first, I want to begin with the picture that Marcus had presented earlier. Thank you for that. So as you can see, in general, youth violence hasn't increased. So that's the main focus here. It hasn't increased. But you can see there's a drop in the peaceful area. And what's interesting here is that in 2014, the Crime Prevention Office in Reykjavik was closed. So we still need to think about, why was it closed? Are we seeing effect on that, how that went? And we also see that there's an increase in the age between 13 to 15 years old. And that is the same with other police data from the Nordic countries. So this age is very vulnerable to being both perpetrators and victims of violence, also according to Icelandic studies. So this is our main finding, this particular picture. You can see that overall youth violence hasn't increased, but we are seeing an increase in serious and major assaults. So this is for us, at this time, wasn't any news for us, but for the main public in Iceland was very much of debated as well. So as you can see, what includes major assaults is wearing of weapons, knives, major kicks to the head, etc. So for us, we needed to analyze further what is behind those numbers. Also, one of the main findings is the repeat offending. So as you can see, from 2007, 2015, 2023, we are seeing repeat offending. We are seeing more people committing more violent offenses. So the risks, we are also viewing the risks. So we have in Iceland been analyzing for the last 3 years more thoroughly risk connections to organized crime. So when we started analyzing it, we needed a framework. What is connection to organized crime? We needed a definition of youth exploitation. And we found it in the UK Serious Violence Strategy, a very good one, because this also states that there's a paradox to this definition, because you can also be a victim of a crime while at the same time being also the abuser. So I think that for us, that gives us, to have this kind of definition, an opportunity to process further our data. And when we are talking about connection to organized crime, we're also talking about drug trafficking and drug distribution. And I've been saying that a lot in Iceland. This isn't a new phenomenon. This has been happening for a while, for many years. We haven't been putting a framework to it in Iceland, but putting the lens of exploitation. So you can see here, this is the news from Iceland. We have an individual traveling between the countries, a 17-year-old with a lot of drugs. In the news media, there's no mentioning of potential exploitation. There's no mentioning of this being a child under the age of 18. This is only a suspect. So with that in mind, we need to reframe the whole concept of exploitation. On operational level, we also work with other colleagues in the police in OTF GRIM, which is operational task force aiming to analyze violence as a service. And I'm going to put this as an example here because we have been analyzing this as a crime script. So you have here the instigator, the recruiter, the enabler, and then the perpetrator. And this is a good example to how Sweden, for example, is, the Sigrid mentioned, the targeted youth, the perpetrator of the penal policy. When in reality, we have the exploitation on 3 different levels. So we have the instigator, we have the coercion, we have the threats, but we are actually targeting our penal policy to the perpetrator, who is actually both suspect and a victim at the same time. So in our mind, this is an example of forced criminality. Just putting it out there, food for thought. So now, the crime prevention aspect. In the report, we made a policy recommendations, and we were luckily, and this is a very positive thing compared to what the other Nordic countries have been saying, the Ministry of Justice and Welfare responded by launching a comprehensive action plan. So we're really thankful for that. The overall focus is the interdisciplinary approach and collaborations between different systems. So in 21, in Iceland, a new act on integrated services in the interest of children prosperity entered the force. The child becomes the heart of the system. And this is what we are kind of developing more and more in Icelandic context, is children are not small adults. Children need coordinated health services as a victim of sexual services as well. We need actions against violence among children. We need child-friendly and trauma-informed approaches across all actions. We need trauma-informed service systems, and this is the main overall focus. So the next steps I'm going to introduce, I don't have time to introduce the 25 steps, but I can if you like. No. I'm going to go through them until my time is up. So one of them is the strengthened interdisciplinary approach in cases of violence among children. So this is kind of the core principle of Signs of Safety model. It's about building relationships. It's about the trusting partnerships between the different system and the child and the families. We also have a support now treatment resources of children and family agency. So as you can see here, the number of children on waiting lists for treatments in Iceland has never been higher. So this is much of action now. They are working on this very thoroughly. So what this is doing is we need to have more of treatment with children with severe difficulties. So we need to establish procedures for non-criminally liable children and resources for children who commit serious acts of violence. This is called the Pathway, which is intended for youth who are completing treatment of BFS and have been convicted of violence offenses. So it's designed to help individuals transition from the protected environment of treatment facilities and also with a form of aftercare. So the fourth is review case handling and resources for criminally liable children. It's about also to examine how we should this wasn't been done before the report was published. So this is a new initiative, and this is more about coming together, police, child social services, about finding new treatment plans. Strengthen community policing. This is also one of our goals, because community policing had a cutback. This is also essential to showcase. This is a picture from Instagram. Community policing, you have to be very mindful of how you present yourself as a community police officer. So I think different target groups, different kinds of community policing. And this picture is actually from the most marginalized area in Reykjavik. And it demonstrated that the police officers, they wanted to do an ice bucket challenge with children who don't have any trust in the police. So the reason why I put it here is this is a basic power reverse. So the children are allowed to do not humiliate the police officer, but just play with them. So the police officer is sitting down and the children are putting water over him. So it's kind of it went viral, and it's a very good way of gaining trust as well. So we need to increase follow-up on offences committed by children and youth, and great emphasis must be placed on use of mediation by the police. Before the report, there was had never been done like a systematic mediation by the police. So now this is, we are working on guidelines, and we have much hope for this. I have 1 minute left. I speak so fast, I'm like sweating. 2 minutes, okay. So we need to strengthen the Mobile Youth Center. Mobile Youth Center is called The Fleet. They target marginalized groups who show negative social behaviors, and they kind of establish trust. They come up with leisure activities, and they know what's going around everywhere. So we also got funding for The Fleet in our recommendations. So we need to establish a standardized national procedure for screening violence and distress among children in primary schools. That was also one of our recommendations, and this is one that we have been kind of needed in a long time. So in general, this is the Child Prosperity Act. So I think what we are very positive about is the response that we got from the report. We can see that the Prosperity Act was also very good for us, because we can see that the child is definitely in the center of every legal reforms. So yeah, thank you.